Our climate is in crisis. Obviously. Hopefully you don't need me to tell you that. The environmental effects of humanity have been well known for decades now. Rising temperatures, increasing sea levels, reduced ice cover, all of these have been covered to death. In this video, I aim to bring light to one of the less charismatic regions that is being adversely affected by human activity. You've read the title, no point trying to make it a surprise. I'm talking about seagrass. Seagrass? You mean that seaweed stuff that manatees eat? First, seagrass is not a kind of seaweed. It is much more closely related to the land plants that you're familiar with than any of the seaweed you may have seen washed up on the shore or brushing up against your leg when you're swimming at the beach. Second, yes, it is that thing that manatees eat, but it is so much more. There are meadows of seagrass throughout the world, from around the tropics to as far north as the United Kingdom and as far south as Chile. And yes, they are called meadows. So what? It's widespread. Why does that make it so important? I'm glad you asked me. While they can act as a food source for large animals like the manatee, their true importance shines when you start to look closer. In the tropics, such as in the Caribbean, seagrass meadows work as important nursery regions for coral reefs. A nursery in this context is a place for young fish to grow and develop in an area away from the strong waves and large predators associated with reefs like this. These meadows are also important outside of the context of their relationship with the colorful and photogenic coral reefs. If you live near a coast, they very directly improve your life. A report in 2017 found that seagrass is able to act as a natural filtration system, which reduces the abundance of bacteria that cause disease in many animals, not just in fish, but also humans. Now, as far as environments go, yeah, seagrass seems pretty boring. In each meadow, there's usually only a few species, sometimes only just one. A region like that must be pretty resilient, yeah? There's not much there that can really disrupt the balance. Wait, I'm the one that's supposed to be asking questions. Shush you. I'm the one making the video. Anyway, seagrass seems like it should be resistant to change. It's just some underwater plants. How hard is it to mess those up? Turns out, it's pretty easy. Of course, there's the standard rising temperatures due to greenhouse gases like methane and carbon dioxide. Even just short periods of time, a few days even at high temperature, can lead to the widespread death of seagrasses. This especially affects the already at-risk regions in the tropics. Pairing that with the effects of high temperature on coral, I'm sure you can see how this could lead to a bit of a spiral, as fewer seagrass meadows leads to a lower diversity of fish, which can clean and sort of maintain the coral, as well as less coral cover to feed the adult fish. Seagrass isn't just affected by temperature, though. It's also affected by epiphytes. What are epiphytes? Well, some algae will grow on the seagrass itself. These are what are known as epiphytes. They can be, to put it lightly, a problem. Now, one of the biggest factors for all plants is access to light. And when you have lots of water between you and the sun, every ray that you can get is precious. Epiphytes directly and physically block light from getting to the plant's surface and cells. Would this usually be an issue? Not really, no. They share their environment with plenty of animals that will happily graze on the epiphytes, so-called grazers. But it's an issue now because of, well, we've messed with the oceans enough to change the balance of these ecosystems, where these grazers aren't as common, making epiphytes more and more likely to properly take hold. While those indirect actions have clear effects on the coastal meadows, humans also very directly affect seagrass. To maintain our ports or build out to sea, we need to dredge the seafloor. Dredge? Yeah, physically removing sand and silt from the ocean floor and either repurposing it or moving it to another location. This very directly affects seagrass meadows by blocking light from all the sand that's been kicked up, removing the seagrass physically through the dredging process, and burying it in while depositing the leftover sand. This process can kill more than 80% of seagrass in a region, turning a previously diverse and biologically rich area comparatively desolate. Okay, but I live far from the ocean. Does it really matter to me? Well, it should. Seagrass meadows sequester carbon, which means that they are very good at taking carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and storing it in a way that doesn't easily get back into the atmosphere. Losing seagrass means that we are losing an important method of taking carbon out of the atmosphere. Not only that, but losing seagrass means that the carbon that was stored by it will be released, directly increasing the amount of carbon dioxide in the water and the air. Now, this does seem like a pretty bad situation, but there are ways that could help turn this around. Perhaps one of the most actionable for you is to make your voice heard on the importance of protecting important species of grazers and advocating for the creation of marine protected areas where fishing is highly restricted. I'll have a more in-depth video about these areas soon, so be sure to stay tuned for that. If you happen to live near a seagrass meadow, you can engage in citizen science by helping to monitor these areas and volunteer some of your time to helping seagrass researchers understand these important regions better. An incredible one that I have personally contributed to is Project Seagrass. If you want to find out more, there's a link in the description to show you how you can contribute. If you don't happen to live near some seagrass, there are other ways that you can help that are also detailed at the website in the link below. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful or informative, be sure to give it a like and comment down below if you have any information that you feel is important to add or any questions you wish to ask. All of this really helps with getting the video recommended to more people. I've put a list of the papers that I've used in the description, so feel free to check them out to make sure I haven't taken anything too far out of context. Have a good day, and I'll see you sometime.